San Francisco, it's Rex Broadcasting Wrestling Observer with Dave Meltzer and Bryan Alvarez.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Let's get it on!
How's it going, everybody? This is Dave Meltzer. We're going to be here for the next 2 hours talking pro wrestling as well as covering the TNA pay-per-view, which is New Year's final resolution.
Final something or other.
Final resolution, which is actually just starting right now, which we'll talk about throughout the show, which will be, it should be the biggest pay-per-view in the history of TNA because of Sting's appearance and a pretty loaded lineup, opening up with Austin Aries, Roderick Strong, and Alex Shelley against Sanjay Dutt, Chris Sabin, who has a total new look, and Matt Bentley, and that match is actually starting right at this moment, so we'll be talking about this. As it goes along, we'll be taking your phone calls at 1-800-878-PLAY as well. This is actually the only time for the next several weeks that we will be doing basically open lines. You can call about any subject you want because next week we're going to be loaded with guests. Week after that's the Royal Rumble, and the week after that we've got we'll probably be loaded with guests as well. So anyway, Bryan, how have you been?
Not too bad. I would like to start off by saying that I just finished watching the TNA TV from last night, and it was good.
Yeah, it was a good go-home show. I mean, it's nothing special to me, but the B.G. James interview I thought was really good.
Yeah, BG was great, and I just thought that as far as like the whole pacing of the show and everything like that, I've seen a lot of shows where it's like I watched the same show the week before, and this was one where it was a real go-home show, and I thought everything was good, and yeah, thumbs up.
Yeah. Well, it was quite the week. Actually, WWE, since in the last week, is two titles that haven't changed hands since WrestleMania. Both changed hands. One, actually, neither of them 2 weeks ago were even planned. Vince McMahon got, I guess they finally got, I don't know if it's the message or whatever you want to say regarding John Cena, and decided that they would take the championship off of John Cena, and they put it on Edge last Sunday on the New Year's Revolution pay-per-view with, they did the Elimination Chamber match, which John Cena won, even though he was being booed out of the building. And then after that, Edge came out for his Money in the Bank match and won with 2 spears in 1:46 and is the new WWE champion. That same night, Dave Bautista tore his tricep. He actually had surgery on Thursday. He's going to be out until the summer. And there was no choice but to have him vacate the championship, so they put it up in a battle royal, which is certainly a controversial thing in Philadelphia on Tuesday, which aired on SmackDown on Friday. Kurt Angle winning the battle royal.
Stronger protection against stock market uncertainty. In addition, Blanchard will buy back your gold at any time you want to sell. Call 800-388-0141 and buy Gold American Eagles at 1% over cost. That's 800-388-0141. Don't miss out. Call 800-388-0141.
Hey, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Dave Meltzer, editor of the Wrestling Observer News, with Bryan Alvarez, Figure 4 Weekly. We're here every Sunday night from 8 to 10 p.m. And the 6-man tag match, which is Austin Aries, Roderick Strong, and Alex Shelley against Sanjay Dutt, Chris Sabin, and Matt Bentley is in the ring. And they've already shown Jerry Lynn watching the match, so he's probably going to get involved in an angle with Aries, Strong, and Shelley, which actually was teased on TV, maybe not this week, but a week or so ago. And then Dave Hebner's also watching. I don't know why exactly, but I guess that'll be explained as the show goes on. Also, in the pregame show, it was Petey Williams, A1, and Eric Young over Kenny King, Lance Hoyt, and Jay Lethal, and Conan and Homicide over the Naturals. Apollo not there because flight problems getting out of Puerto Rico, which is, by the way, a legit excuse. And anyway, that's where we are with the show. God, it's been quite busy last couple of weeks since we were last on the air. We had the New Year's Eve show. We've got tomorrow, which is going to be head-to-head, WWE against UFC for the second time, and they both. I don't know if UFC's lost its mind. They're just announcing that it's going to be the greatest. What's the wording? It's like right out of wrestling.
The most important announcement in the history of the UFC.
Yeah, the most important announcement in history, which will change the UFC forever.
That's right.
Will be announced tomorrow night, and of course, and Raw will have Kurt Angle against Shawn Michaels, presumably for the last time in a while, which of course should be a pay-per-view match, but they don't have time now to do it anyway. So that all worked out. But that was not, when they made that match they did not know what they were doing as far as Kurt Angle switching brands, and also, which they did know, world title, tables, ladders, and chairs match for the first time, Edge against Ric Flair, which sounds just to me like a horrible idea.
That's a horrible idea if both guys were, like, healthy. And they're doing it with both guys hurt.
Yeah.
Which makes it 10 times worse. And I don't know. That's certainly not the match that I would have argued for in any sort of meeting.
Well, we're going to see it anyway, or some facsimile of it.
Sure.
And so that should be interesting. New Year's Eve, well, of course, okay, tomorrow night, also UFC, Tim Sylvia against Asuero Silva, Chris Lieben against Jorge Rivera, and what's the other? Let's see. There's one other big one. I don't even remember it.
Yeah, I think that's the point. I was actually going to say something, but
it's just Stephen Bonner and James Irvin's the other big match.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those shows where Dana's figuring that the UFC name is going to get people to tune in, and he may be right for all I know, because
to a degree,
there's no big match on this show.
No. If I'm going to bet, I think the announcement's going to be monthly live shows on Spike, because Spike was the one that broke the story first. So to me, that means it has to do with Spike.
Monthly specials?
Yeah, monthly specials on Mondays.
Okay, that might be, because we've sort of been hearing about that for a while.
Yeah, I believe. I mean, I don't know that. No one has told me, but there's certain things that have happened in the last week that make sense. It could be also, who knows? Maybe. I don't know. If they're, they may announce Hoist Gracie, coming back. That's always been a rumor, but I just don't see him. One, he'd have to fight under their rules, and number two, after watching Hoist Gracie on New Year's Eve, boy, the idea that he's going to take on Matt Hughes is just not. That is not a good idea on his part. I'll just tell you that. How much have you seen of New Year's Eve?
I've seen all of the Pride pay-per-view. I've seen a couple of the matches that have not aired on the TV show. I've seen really nothing from K1, so I'm behind.
K1 was good. The Pride show, I watched the Pride 6-hour show from Japan, and it was so much better than what we saw on pay-per-view. It's like night and day. If the 6-hour show looked like one of the... Chris Sabin just did an awesome dive. Well, not an awesome, but a normal dive. But the Pride show and even in the 6-hour format, they didn't show all of the matches. They edited a lot of stuff out, which I couldn't understand whatsoever. Although I did get to see Giant Silva's match, and but the atmosphere of that show was so incredible. When you see it, they took out all I could say is they took out all of the best stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned this to you earlier, but I mean, when I saw the pay-per-view in the U.S., it was over and I was happy with it. But then when I actually started seeing some of the other matches that we didn't see on TV, I was like, what were they thinking? I mean, the Giant Silva match, it went 1:30.
Yeah, he was just bulldozed. Looks like we got a finish here, which is, and it is the finish. It was Austin Aries pinning Matt Bentley using the tights, so that one's over with. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, I'm just saying, I mean, I saw the Giant Silva match, and, there were a couple of matches otherwise that were short, and it was like, okay, why couldn't you put at least clips of this on the pay-per-view? Why did they have to disappear entirely in favor of,
Well, there's no reason they couldn't have shown the Giant Silva match, because they ended, 10, 15 minutes early, and the Giant Silva match is a minute and a half. So there's...
And we had to see Taka in a thong playing the drums.
Well, that was bad about... You know what, though? This was amazing is... They edited that opening ceremony down a lot, and unedited, and I mean, granted, they didn't have the time to do it unedited, but unedited, that thing was phenomenal. Because there was a whole big production long before Takada got in his thong. I mean, Takada was out there tap dancing with all of these tap dancers to the Pride theme song, and, I mean, it was awesome. They had this, this wouldn't have aired here, but in Japan, they had this Pride MasterCard commercial that is just tremendous for the... Oh, my God. I mean, because they have the women in the voice, announcing, like, the MasterCard, like it's, like, one of the fighters. And, she
really?
has that voice.
Wow. Oh, well, I mean, hey, if you can air the whole thing, air it. But if the whole thing's great and you're going to cut it down to 5 minutes, then use that 5 minutes on Giant Silva instead.
Yeah. And, well, they didn't need to show the opening ceremony, been showing those guys that weren't going to be fighting. And based on what I saw, which was only the second and third round, because they didn't show the first round on TV, the Yuki Kondo Nakamura match may have been the best match on the show.
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't get to see any of it. Then the Powell and the Stula match was very good. But the stuff that what was really made the show to me was the ring entrances in the Sakuraba Manoa and Yoshi. They were, they put an atmosphere on those two matches like this was, I'm the biggest wrestling match that you would ever see. Hulk Hogan, Bill Goldberg type of reaction when they were coming out, and we saw none of that.
Okay, so the question is, now when Sakuraba came out, he was wearing the Razor Ramon HG costume.
Which is why they couldn't show it.
Well, yeah, nobody would understand it in the U.S., but, the question really is,
but the thing is,
the ring announcement great enough?
The crowd going... The other thing is, they must have edited crowd shots out or taken a different feed because there were all these crowd shots of the crowd in unison, like standing and chanting, and none of which I saw on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, so I guess, the question is, was the ring entrance good enough that it didn't matter if nobody knew what he was doing?
No, I think that it didn't matter because it was professional wrestling and they're so paranoid that you can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't explain that. And, Ogawa coming out with the Hashimoto headband and coming out. And they had this giant screen thing and they had the lightning bolts coming from the sky in the building and they had the...
Was Kane there?
What?
Was Kane there?
No. But they had all of this special effects. It was 1,000 times better than anything WWE's ever done.
Wow.
And, they had all of this stuff in the show, and we didn't see any of it. And, it really was a phenomenal show, and I feel bad, watching the pay-per-view because you saw a bunch of matches. It would be like, WrestleMania edited to 90 minutes and, and some of the best matches being edited out. Kind of like WCW used to do with their DVDs of pay-per-views years ago.
That's right, yeah.
They had a pay-per-view of, I'm trying to remember what the show was, but I know it was in Baltimore or Washington because I was there. And the highlight match of the whole show was the Midnight Express against, I think it was Tom Zink and, no, Tracy Smothers and Steve Armstrong. And, I think it's Baltimore Arena. And then the pay-per-view comes out. It wasn't a DVD, it was the VHS comes out. And they edit out only the best match on the show that was like, a match of the year candidate because the people at... we got to cut to 2 hours, and no concept of what's good and bad. And
that's always good.
(888-666-3510). That's 1-888-666-3510. Or go to the website jaybuckley.com. That's JAYBUCKLEY.com. Let Buckley Tours take you out to the ball game.
Hey, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Dave Meltzer, editor of the Wrestling Observer newsletter with Bryan Alvarez of Figure 4 Weekly. We're here watching the TNA pay-per-view as well, going on with Elix Skipper and David Young against the James Boys, BG James and Kip James. And Bryan, Kip James looks even more ridiculous this month than last month.
Really? Because last month you had a legendary comment on him.
Yeah, well, he's got kind of a ponytailish, weird thing on the top of his head, which, I don't know. And the same shorts and... I don't know what else to say about him. So we should be joined, actually, in a couple minutes by P.D. Williams, who worked earlier in the show. And real quick, want to plug that the awards issue of the Wrestling Observer newsletter is out. It actually comes out tomorrow. So you can order it right now. You can go to www.wrestlingobserver.com. It's one of our biggest issues of the year. And news from all over the world. Tons of news about WrestleMania that will either make you laugh or cry, probably a little bit of both. Different things that have been going regarding that show. And, of course, the awards in about 36 different categories. So this is, again, as I said, one of our bigger issues of the year. You can go to the website. You can also go to the website for news updates, TV show rundowns, and things like that. So,
and we have P.D. Williams on the line.
Okay. And speaking of the awards, for the second straight year, the winner of the Best Wrestling Move of the Year was the Canadian Destroyer, done by P.D. Williams. And P.D., this is the first time we ever had his show. where did you give us a little bit of background on the development of that move?
Well, what I like to, well, first off, how you guys doing?
Doing really good.
Okay, great. Well, first off, I like to say that Scott D'Amore showed it to me, and it dates back to the 70s, and it comes from a guy named Doug Chevalier, Canadian destroyer. He wore a mask. He's Scott D'Amore's trainer, and he did it in the 70s, but, you know, TV and stuff, all he had was WWE back then, so, you know, he didn't really get to see it, so I just brought it to life on TV.
Wow.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I never knew that before. Wow. I heard...
Thanks, Scott D'Amore, yeah.
Yeah. So now, and Scott, of course, trained you and got you into TNA, and what was how long had you been wrestling before you started with TNA?
I'd say like 2.5 years, until Scott brought me to TNA on the first Team Canada. It was like, none of the members are still around, Johnny Devine, Jack Evans, Teddy Hart, and myself, and then we had the new formation in Team Canada, and that's the one that stuck.
Now, during this period, you know, you've always been kept in a pretty strong mixed X Division tag team, kind of been a utility guy. Is doing the tag teams with Team Canada, is that more fun for you, or do you enjoy doing the singles matches with like AJ Styles and people like that?
Well, I mean, each of them has pros and cons. I mean, I really like doing the X Division stuff because that's more my style, you know, and like guys are more my size, so. You know, it just you blend well. It's a better mix, I'd say. You know, I have more fun coming up with good ideas and stuff like that. The heavyweight stuff is fun too because I say it's like more taking it easy. You know, and you got guys like on your back, like bigger guys, getting your back and stuff like that. So 8-man tags aren't as hard as like an X Division title match. So.
Now, do you have any aspirations of actually moving up, sort of solely to the heavyweight division, or do you just want to stick with X Division for now?
X Division for now. I mean, I don't see it's my style. There's nothing wrong with the heavyweight division. I mean, I think the X Division and the heavyweight division each have their place on the card in TNA. But X Division's what I like, and I don't see myself going anywhere soon.
Are you enjoying the fact that because on the tag team they're allowing you to kind of show your personality more, playing off of Eric Young and everything? I mean, how's that been?
I mean, it's been great. I mean, with Showtime, his personality, the guy that's afraid of everything. I mean, it's good when you have like a supporting character that can back you up, and it's hard just being out there solo and showing your personality. When you have somebody else that you get feed off of, I mean, that's $1 million right there.
How was the scripting and putting everything together in that the 3D funeral segment, which is probably I mean, from a comedy standpoint, probably the best thing I think TNA has ever done.
Yeah, I think it came off very well. Filming, it's Hollywood and stuff like that. Like we had to do a lot of takes from different angles and stuff like that. It's just like filming any type of movie or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like a lot of takes, a lot of editing and stuff like that. So I think that's why it came off so good. Like you can only do so much with a live shot promo, in front of the camera, and when you have the ability to do editing and stuff like that, it just turns out so much better, I think.
Now, are you originally from where are you originally from? The Windsor area?
Yeah, I still live there too.
What would you say? Why would you say? I mean, like you were kind of on the border, Windsor, on the border of Detroit.
Yeah.
What would you say? I mean, I've noticed going up to Canada, Toronto a couple of times, and but Canada in general, to me, it feels like there's more of an acceptance of wrestling, as I don't know, not as negative a portrayal maybe among the culture. Do you notice that as far as compared to the United States, where it's kind of considered kind of like more of a negative vibe, like newspapers will cover it more in Canada, it always seems like, or mainstream media?
I don't know. I mean, Canada and the U.S. is different. I mean, if you go to more southern areas in the U.S., the crowd's way into the old school, good guy, bad guy type thing. Whereas Canada, I think they're more smart. Like this is just what I found. Like when I wrestle in both countries, I think Canadians are more like they want to see more type deal. But every time I go to Canada, like obviously being Canadian, and they always show me great respect when I go over there. So I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Are there any great undiscovered talents up there, or really anywhere else you'd like to see get a shot in TNA?
There is. They're not undiscovered, though. I mean, Harry Smith, British Bulldogs kid.
Yep.
You know, he's not undiscovered. Everybody knows about him, but, you know, he's a great talent. I mean, he's one of the best. I'd say there's another one called T.J. Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
He's from the Calgary area, too. Other than that, nothing that pops to my head right away. Just those two, I'd say. That's all I can think of right now.
How much? Besides TNA, how much stuff? How many shows do you want to do a month, and do you end up doing a month? On the independent scene.
Besides TNA, I try to I had a hectic schedule around the holidays. Like I did Japan and England back to back and stuff like that. But I like to but I took this past weekend off. But I like to have one show a weekend at least, maybe two. But I like to have a weekend a month off. To just for myself.
So were you on the Doncast, those Doncast Ring One shows?
Yeah, I worked Jerry Lynn the first night, and then Jerry Lynn, Jody Fleisch, and Johnny Storm in a four-way the next night.
So now, how was the crowd there? As far and you've been to England a couple times before. Is that right?
I only been once for the Wrestling Channel back in March.
Okay.
The crowds in England are, that's the market where it's hot right now. I'd say. Business in Japan's a little bit down. Business in the U.S. and Canada's a little bit down. I'd say business in England is top notch. The crowd, it's unbelievable. You can go thousands of miles away from your home, and you walk out of the curtain and everybody knows who you are. And then the crowd is just so responsive and stuff like that. England's, great. I think TNA should start touring over there. It would work wonders for the company.
I think so. I think that it'd be better to do for TNA. I think to tour in England than it would be to tour in the United States, just because I think the crowd's more ready for it. Maybe.
I think TNA would make more money in England because it's weird because the tickets for those shows they were telling me, and they were I don't even know, floor front rows were £80, which is like $140 American. It was just ridiculous for that show, and I think it just the traveling the expenses raised there, and then the lighting and all the stuff like that. But our main fan base is in the U.S. In England, they're a month behind on pay-per-views and stuff like that. They won't get this pay-per-view. They'll get, December's pay-per-view this month. So they're kind of behind.
They're catching up, though, because they're doing, actually tonight on the Wrestling Channel, they're doing four straight weeks of Impact for 4 hours, so they're only, I think they're going to end up being, only a week behind now.
Oh, okay, well, that's good. Well, last I heard, they were, a month behind.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So.
How's the building there tonight? I hear there's, 400 turned away or something like that?
There's still. I'm looking out at the doors, and people are watching it. We have TV screens outside the building where people line up. They can't get in. And there's a whole bunch of people out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
The crowd's really responsive tonight. It's, it's always good. When we have pay-per-views here, always good.
How's your feelings as far as the atmosphere of bringing in Sting, kind of the pretty much on a regular basis the biggest name that you've had as far as picking up the company and things like that.
It's good. Hopefully, it works wonders for the company. Sting hasn't been on, any sort of TV since, the WCW days. And that's a good, 5 years. You probably know better than me how long it's been, but...
Almost 5 years.
Yeah, that's going to, this is a big return tonight. He's done a few things with TNA back in our Nashville era, but, there's a bigger fan base now, and, definitely this is it's a good way to start off 2006, I think.
What's your thoughts as far as being with TNA? You started not quite at the beginning, but you started, in the Nashville days. And was there a feeling in your mind at any one point where it was whether it's coming to Orlando or maybe getting on Spike, where you kind of felt, the thing was starting to maybe turn a corner or something?
Yeah, well, right now, when I started here, the company is two totally different companies. We're more production based. We're more, I'd say, focused on what's going to happen. It's easier to build storylines over monthly pay-per-views than weekly pay-per-views, and people are gonna buy monthly pay-per-views over weekly pay-per-views, and we have Spike TV. Totally different company than what it used to be for sure.
As far as what were your thoughts as far as your match tonight? Because you were in a pre-show match.
So again, if you're self-employed, run a small business, or if you're on a COBRA plan and it's about to expire, and you need dependable, reliable health insurance, call Mega Health now for a free quote. 866-503-MEGA, 866-503-MEGA. That's 866-503-MEGA. These competitive health insurance plans are underwritten by the Mega Life and Health Insurance Company, and coverage may not be available in all states, so call now and see if you qualify. 866-503-MEGA, 866-503-MEGA. That's 866-503-MEGA.
One of the best sports books of the year, The Education of a Coach by award-winning author David Halberstam, explores the nuances of both the game and the man behind it. He uncovers what makes Bill Belichick tick, both on and off the field, as a coach, a father, and a son. Working with unusual degree of cooperation from Bill Belichick, Halberstam shows us a man acutely aware of all the forces in contemporary sports that work against the old-fashioned concept of team, who has somehow managed to change his players' view of how the game should be played. This book is not just about Super Bowl winning coach Bill Belichick, but about what it means to be a leader. This is the must-have book for football fans this season. Stay tuned to Sports Byline USA Broadcast Network for your chance to win a copy of The Education of a Coach. That's The Education of a Coach by David Halberstam. Available now from Hyperion Books or wherever books are sold.
Okay, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Dave Meltzer, editor of the Wrestling Observer newsletter with Bryan, Alvarez, Figure 4 Weekly. TNA pay-per-view is going on right now. Real quick results. It was in the pregame show. It was Team Canada, Pete Williams, we just had on the air, A1 and Eric Young over Kenny King, Lance Hoyt, and Jay Lethal, and Conan and Homicide over the Naturals. Then on the regular show, it was Alex Shelley, Austin Aries, and Roderick Strong over Sanjay Dutt, Chris Sabin, and Matt Bentley. And then the James boys, Kip James and D.G. James, beat Ilk Skipper and David Young. And we got A.J. Styles and Hiroshi Tanahashi in the ring, apparently, based on what I can see, having a really good match. I mean, they're doing... this is more of a Japanese-style match than an AJ Styles X Division match, and it seems to be clicking. I can't really tell how the crowd's reacting other than there are people in the front row that look like they're really excited. And actually, 4 rows deep, they're clapping a lot at Styles making a quick comeback. You know, we are like 45 minutes into the show, and we have not talked about the sex scene with Edge and Lita from Monday night.
Yeah.
That was different.
It was. It was, went a long time, you know what I mean? Like, it got to the point where I was thinking, I've been watching this for about 15 minutes now. Is anything going to happen here? Is the show going to end with them actually having sex? Is someone going to run in, or what's the deal? Well,
someone ran in. Probably the only person who could have gotten away with running in. You talk about, you know, Ric Flair is the most interesting character because it's like he'll get in these hot feuds or theoretically hot feuds, sell like crazy, get no interview time, and then he finally gets interview time only for, somebody else's feud, which is the John Cena Edge thing.
Yeah.
And he's there, and he was there basically to sacrifice. I mean, he's always, been there to sacrifice to get people over, but this was, his previous sacrifice to get people over through most of his career was also to make opponents for himself, in the sense of, he's sacrificing to make his own matches. Here, I mean, he was sacrificing so bad, taking those chair shots, after taking the briefcase shots the night before, after taking the sledgehammer shot, a couple of weeks earlier. And it's like they're doing all this stuff to him, and he's this great promo looking for revenge, never doing the promo, never getting revenge, never...
Well, he sort of did set up a match here.
Well, yeah, at the last minute, but this is again, it's again a match to put over John Cena. Whatever happens here, I mean, this isn't. You know what I'm saying? This isn't a big feud for him.
No.
They
needed something for TLC.
Yeah, but what are your thoughts as far as the crowd? Certainly cheered John Cena a lot more at the end of the show than they've done in months.
Well, the thing was, when I first, when Edge lost the title, or when Edge won the title, I thought, how weird because we've been talking for a long time that maybe the belt needs to be taken off the guy. The people, this is just not working with him as a babyface. Maybe if you take the belt off him, he'll get some cheers, that sort of thing. And then for the previous 2 weeks before that pay-per-view, I mean, the crowd reaction was just so great. It was
New York. I mean, it was great reaction, but it was just so negative.
It was negative, but you were not going to have a John Cena match with no heat.
Yeah.
It was going to have the most heat of anything on the show, and I thought, in a strange way, this is working. And I thought, okay, keep the belt on him now. Something's working here. I don't know what it is or why, but I'm fine with it. And the next thing you know, they took the belt off him, and I guess people, it was sort of what was expected, which was people weren't so upset anymore that he was there because he wasn't the champion, but I don't know. I just sort of thought they had something.
How about Orlando Jordan's new gimmick where he's going to play a bisexual, and they're going to have two seconds, a male and a female, who are both going to be his love interests. The female will be played by former TNA woman competitor Trinity, and the male has not been determined yet.
Oh, CM Punk.
Is that who it's supposed to be?
Well, I don't know. I just know he's dodged a bunch of bad bullets recently, so eventually he's going to get caught.
Funny you should say that, because that was actually the first person I had in mind, and I was kind of given the impression that he'd quit first.
Really?
I don't know that, but that's the impression I was given, is that he'd quit first. Shannon Moore just ran in the ring. This wasn't so pretty. Shannon Moore ran in the ring and tried to hit AJ Styles with the Mr. TNA award, but instead hit Hiroshi Tanahashi. Then AJ Styles just gave the Pele kick to Shannon Moore, which didn't look so pretty, and now I think we're about to get a Styles clash, and in fact, I am correct. So there we go. We're going to have a pin right now. So AJ Styles over Hiroshi Tanahashi in this match.
Well, I guess it sort of makes sense. I was trying to figure out what they do for the finish here, because you figured that Shannon Moore had to be involved, but
and he was.
Can't really have Tanahashi win if he's not coming back or being a regular, so this worked.
Yeah. It looks like a pretty good crowd reaction. A lot of thumbs downs that I can see, and a lot of cheering for AJ Styles. So I don't know,
it's funny.
There's a sign that says that match was phenomenal. Of course, that looks like a planted sign to me. It's just 3 rows deep. Maybe it's not, but it's got that that planted lettering where you can kind of tell that this one may not be real.
Well, here's what you do. Here's my tip to wrestling promoters. If you're going to plant a sign, have your younger sister or something write out the sign for you, and make sure she spells something wrong, and then it'll look more like a real sign at that point.
Yeah, but then you tell your people that your audience doesn't know how to spell, which is even worse.
Well, if 98% of the signs are spelled wrong, you can just sort of get in the bunch right there. You know what I mean?
No, this is going to definitely turn AJ Styles heel. What just happened there?
Uh-oh.
Okay, when Shannon Moore got Pele, he left the Mr. TNA award on the ground, and Hiroshi Tanahashi picked it up. And Hiroshi Tanahashi, turning himself babyface, handed it to AJ. And as AJ is thanking Tanahashi, Shannon Moore snuck in and stole it and ran away. We got Raven and the mystery guy next, who will probably be Sean Waltman. And if it's not Sean Waltman, that means that something's happened in the last 24 hours.
And that means we won't be seeing a lot of Sean Waltman.
Well, Sean Waltman was in the building this afternoon, and I mean, he's fine, and he's got his family with him and everything. So it's not like he no-showed. I mean, the only reason he wouldn't be there if he pulled a Kevin Randleman and slipped on a pipe and hit his head or something.
That's right. You know what's funny about the beginning of this turn on AJ Styles? It was really on TV when the fans voted for him to get an award, and the fans in the building did not like what the internet fans thought, and AJ was the victim.
Yeah, that was a legitimate voting, and you would think that they would appreciate the matches that AJ Styles has had over the past year, being that he's had as many great matches over the last year, as far as on pay-per-view, as anyone in the United States.
It's arguments over voting again.
Yeah. Well, you want us to do arguments over voting? Anyway, we got to get to phone calls, because it's been a long time, and a lot of people waiting a long time. We're going to start with Ed in San Antonio. Ed, what's going on?
Hey guys, what I want to talk about tonight is it seems like every week you have a story in the Observer about some kind of locker room etiquette, and I just happened to watch this show this past weekend on the Discovery Channel about a pack of wolves. it just reminded me of the WWE locker room where we all know who the alphas are and the omegas. And my question is, who would be like a beta? Who would be the guy who stands up for these younger guys and teaches them these locker room etiquette so they don't mess up?
JBL.
No, JBL. That's the job of Al Snow and Danny Davis and OBW and Bill DeMott.
Okay, so there's no one
not in that locker
room who would.
Yeah, but I mean, it is
in jeopardy by trying to
the thing
be
that's
a helper
funny,
or something.
The thing that's funny to me, I was actually talking with someone who was in WWE last night, and we were, in the locker room regularly, and like the joke that we were talking about is how all of these young guys come in, and they're expected to know all of this etiquette. Shake everyone's hand. I mean, that's kind of common knowledge in wrestling. Okay, but there's all these other things as far as even if you have a first-class seat, if a bigger star than you comes into the airplane, you're supposed to give up your seat and then go to coach, and things like that. There's no book and there's no booklet, and when you don't do it, they all get down on you, and it's just, it's like the whole thing of you go in there and they don't tell you what to do, but then when you don't do it right, they all say, you don't know how to behave in the locker room, and you start getting black marks against you, and it's really insane, I guess was the word that we came up with.
Or when you're Lance Storm and you tell the guys what they should do and it gets back to the locker room, you get in trouble for it.
Yeah, so it's just a very weird thing of, they used to always talk about those guys, in WCW, that, were keeping their spots and holding guys down, and how WWE would never be like that, but they're exactly like that.
Yeah. And I was curious, wasn't there an incident, because I haven't gotten this week's Observer yet, where someone was thrown out, a guy on a tryout got thrown out of the locker room?
Yeah, he was, I think it was a guy named Havoc who was wanting to get dressed and went into the door, and Teddy Long wasn't dressed and said, don't come in. And he goes, well, I just need to get dressed because I got a match right now. And then JBL was all over him and booted him out of the locker room, as a matter of fact, yeah.
Uh-huh. So just a guy trying to get dressed to have a match gets, in trouble. I mean, it's just kind of...
Well, he'd rubbed people the wrong way. Like, I think he wanted to bring, some of his friends in the locker room, and he wasn't supposed to do that. Then he asked for free tickets for his friends, and was told he couldn't do that. So he was getting the black marks already. Hey, Sean Waltman's there. Well, there you go.
How about that?
Yep, so he's there, and not in good shape around the middle, but, hopefully he'll have a good match with Raven. They tore the house down a couple months back, so... We know they can do it. Of course, don't know that they will do it. But anyway, so he's the mystery guy.
Okay, Dave, I have one more question. If you could explain to me, what exactly is the Razor Ramon HG character?
This guy dresses all in leather and does a lot of pelvic thrusts and he plays like a real hardcore gay character, and he goes.
Is he like the guy from the Village People, or?
Yeah, look, he dresses like a guy from the Village People. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he's been in a lot of variety shows and talk shows and things like that in Japan.
Actually, a huge star.
Yeah, he's a big mainstream star. I mean, everyone knows him. It's especially with the younger crowd. I mean, he's just I guess what's described to me as a major flavor of the month in Japan, right now, or maybe a flavor of the year. And but yeah, he's a star, and he goes around and goes, woo, from Ric Flair, and it's kind of had a second life in Japan.
And nobody knows why he's Razor Ramon.
Yeah, they do. Well, they do. They know because the wrestler.
Is he any good in the ring?
I know, but why? What's the connection?
That was just one of his favorite wrestlers growing up. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was he any?
Do what I did. Call the National Association for the Self-Employed. Call today to find out how the NASC can be your best resource for affordable benefits.
Call the NASC now. 800-839-4648. 800-839-4648. Big solutions for small businesses. Insurance plans are underwritten by the Mega Life and Health Insurance Company. Association membership may not be required to obtain insurance, so call right now. 800-839-4648. 800-839-4648. Not available in all states.
Okay, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Dave Meltzer, head of the Wrestling Observer newsletter with Bryan Alvarez, Figure 4 Weekly, and we just only have a couple minutes before the break. We'll start taking phone calls again in hour number 2. We've got pretty much a full bank of calls. This match with Raven and Sean Waltman is definitely not a semblance of a wrestling match. I'm looking at the ring, and they've got a garbage can, and they've got a ladder, and we've just had a referee bump, and they were there's a table, and there's a kendo stick, and there's a what's it called? You know those pails that you bring to the beach?
To make sand castles?
Yeah.
Those were just hanging around Orlando?
What?
They were just hanging around the building?
I don't know. They were just looking for stuff. They used a shopping cart as a weapon, and they were on the stage. And Raven went to push Sean Waltman, who he put in the shopping cart, off of the ramp. And their ramp, thankfully, is not as high as WWE, because I was thinking that this is going to be really bad. And Sean got out of the shopping cart just before it went off the ramp, but he still took the bump to the floor. And, I mean, he was fine, and he's still working, but, the referee is down, and Larry Zbyszko is now slow-counting Raven, so I know where this one's going.
Oh, boy.
Larry Zbyszko's in there as referee right now. Anyway, we've got to head to our hourly break. We'll be back with the demise of Raven, most likely. Right after this. You're listening to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of the Wrestling Observer with Dave Meltzer and Bryan Alvarez.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Let's get it on!
Okay, welcome back to Hour 2 of the Wrestling Observer Live. This is Dave Meltzer, editor of the Wrestling Observer newsletter with Bryan Alvarez, Figure 4 Weekly, and we're here every Sunday night from 8 to 10 Eastern on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network, channel 122 on Sirius Radio, which, of course, Sirius Satellite Radio, with the addition of Howard Stern. A whole bunch of new people have signed up, so we probably have a lot of new listeners tonight, believe it or not.
Taking off.
What?
We're taking off.
That's right. It's taken off. It's a big deal now. And, by the way, Sean Waltman won that match. He did a facebuster off a ladder through a table on Raven, and Raven got his foot on the ropes, but Larry Zbyszko gave him a fast count and saw the foot on the ropes, and, in fact, counted 4. He counted 1, 2, saw the foot on the ropes, and then counted 3, 4. So Raven must leave TNA forever, which there was a time when that meant something. And this may not be that time. So, anyway, the next match in the ring is going to be Ron Killings and Bobby Roode, and Conan and Ron Killings just did an interview where Conan's trying to recruit Ron Killings back. So that's what's going on there. Anything else going on, Bryan?
You know what's funny is they have this match, and there's ladders, tables, chairs, shopping carts, little cans that you build sandcastles with.
There was a weight belt there too.
Weight belt, and Raven tries to not lose by getting his foot on the ropes. There's just something about that strikes me as weird. You know what I mean? Should you really get the rope break in a match like that?
I mean, you're supposed to. I don't know why all that.
I agree with Larry.
I don't know why all that stuff would be legal. There was something in one of the earlier matches. I'm trying to remember which one it was, where I mean, guys were just interfering right in front of the referee, and he was just letting it go. And I'm just thinking. Well,
I have a theory. It's kind of like the WWE theory of how backstage there's an unwritten code and everything like that.
Yeah.
I just think everybody in TNA has their own rules. We just have not. It hasn't been spelled out for us. Jeff has his own specific rules, which involve brawling before the match starts for 10 minutes or so in the crowd, and then the match starting.
And there's never a count-out.
Sure, Sabu is allowed to have barbed wire and such. And, you know, everybody has their own specific little deal. Abyss can use thumbtacks. And apparently Sean Waltman can use tables, ladders, chairs, and cans.
Jackie Gata and Raven are having a discussion, and Jackie Gate is doing most of the discussing, so I'm going under the assumption that this is poorly acted. Although I don't...
% above cost. Once you experience how easy and profitable gold investing can be, you'll work with Blanchard to build an even stronger protection against stock market uncertainty. In addition, Blanchard will buy back your gold at any time you want to sell. Call 800-388-0141 and buy Gold American Eagles at 1% over cost. That's 800-388-0141. Don't miss out. Call 800-388-0141.
Okay, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Dave Meltzer, editor of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Bryan Alvarez of Figure 4 Weekly. We're here, of course, covering the TNA pay-per-view going on in Orlando, Florida. Ron Killings against Bobby Roode. You want something really weird? No, you don't?
Well, I was just waiting.
Okay. When Brent Albright gets off steroids, how come Bobby Roode shrinks?
They're the same man.
God, I'm starting to think so, even more now.
We've always sort of had that thought that perhaps they were the same man, but that may be more proof.
I know.
By the way, I actually don't have a bone to pick with you, but I do have to mention something. A couple days ago, you noted that the new Ohio Valley, the first show, there was a real long match that I was going to be ranting about again.
Yeah.
That did not even nearly prepare me for that one. My God.
Oh, I know that match never ended.
That was a 2-hour show that somehow I watched in the span of an hour. I don't know how it happened. Some sort of...
Well, I'll prepare you that this week's show, actually the show that would have aired last night, there's another match, and it's not quite as bad, but it's the same type of a thing.
Golly.
It was what was it? It was CM Punk and Brent Albright against it was Ken Doane and who was Doane's partner? Paul Burchill.
Oh, who also has shrunk dramatically.
Yeah, he has.
And the Tolans have shrunk vertically.
Now, Doane looks the same.
Yeah. He's very, very young, though.
Yeah, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah, so I would think that if, for example, his vitamin supply ran out, you would see less changes instantly than with someone who was, say, 40.
It would be slower for sure, yeah.
So.
And he could look like that for real.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen,
he's an athlete, he's tall, it's possible.
I've seen plenty of people who have, it's not, I mean, I saw him, when he did the house show here. And the thing with Ken Doane that you don't notice because is that he's really kind of thin. He's so ripped you don't really notice how thin he actually is in real life.
Well, that's another thing with if you're, I think a lot of people think that when you come off steroids, there are major changes besides just the size. I mean, if you're ripped to shreds and you come off, you'll still be ripped to shreds, just a little smaller. Until your diet...
Not necessarily.
Well, I mean, if you're eating the same amount that you were eating to maintain a certain size, then yes, you're going to get a little flabby and such. But if you're still fine-tuning your diet, I don't think it would be as dramatic a change.
It depends on your testosterone and what you're doing. I mean, you don't do any, because if your testosterone goes down to nothing, it doesn't matter what your diet is. You're gonna start getting soft.
Sure, but if you have a clue about lifting and you have a clue about how to come off, it'll be much less dramatic than somebody that has no clue what they're doing, and the only reason they have any size whatsoever is because they're on something.
Well, there's truth to that for sure.
And we have seen some of those.
There's some people with very noticeable changes, and others not so noticeable. But the one that amazed me was the guy, and you'll know who I'm talking about, who claimed to never lift weights. And to me, it's like, why was he taking steroids if he never lifted weights? Because with his genetics, he probably could have lifted weights and looked just as good and never had to take the steroids in the first place.
Yep.
So anyway, I'm sure there'll be plenty of people speculating on who that is, and they'll probably figure it out real easy, too.
Don't yell at us, though. We didn't say it.
I didn't say nothing. I just said something that I really noticed watching a certain television show a certain number of nights ago.
Sure.
Okay, Tom in San Clemente, what's going on? Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Going pretty good.
I was wondering, I've been reading your great story on Billy Graham in The Observer for the upcoming DVD.
Uh-huh.
And you wrote that only a handful of stars from the 70s could really make it in today's climate.
Without changing their act. I mean, I'm sure that plenty of them could have made it today
you think Bruno could have made it?
by adapting to today. But like just how they were in the 70s, without any changes, I don't think too many.
If they jumped into a time machine and came to 2006, it would probably be bad.
Yeah, I mean, like the Crusher. I mean, if the Crusher, had to come through here now.
That's actually a bad example.
Yeah, because I think he would have a difficult time.
No, I was actually going to say the Crusher was such a character that would almost be like the Boogeyman, just so different and so wacky that it would work.
But he couldn't be a draw like he was or nothing.
Oh,
like
no.
You know, and I don't think people would. I don't know. I don't think so. Because the younger fans, when the younger fans really turned off on the Crusher in the 80s. I mean, it was bad. The Crusher and the Baron. I mean, I remember seeing those shows, watching the people just really shun them. So, and today's fans are a lot more discerning than a lot more than the 80s fans. So
I was thinking Bruno could never have made it.
It'd have to be a completely different character.
Yeah.
That Bruno Sammartino. It's just a different world. He was great for his time and his world, no question, but not today. No.
One other quick question. You wrote that the only real finish for Angle versus Michaels on Monday would be Angle winning, and I was wondering, do you think there'd be any possibility of them hot-shotting the title one more time and have Vince try to screw Michaels, but in the end, Michaels wins the title, and then Angle and Michaels head back to SmackDown and continue their feud?
No. Sorry.
No, I don't think that's going to happen either.
Right. All right, thank you.
Okay. Let's go to Tony in Saugus, Massachusetts. Tony, what's going on?
Hey guys, how you doing? It's a long break, but good to have you guys back.
Oh, thank you.
What's going on with Deborah McMichael? I was kind of surprised at that.
Oh, she's just there visiting. She's not going to be on the show tonight or anything like that.
Oh, I thought she, kind of missed the limelight and wanted to get back in the game.
She might, but I don't know if there's a role for her. Deborah's not young. I don't know what she looks like right now, but she's well in her 40s now.
Yeah, but you can have a MILF character. You know what I'm saying? You could get a spot for her.
You could if she was a great actress. There would certainly be a role for her, but I don't know that she's that great of an actress.
That's the flaw in the plan.
Yeah.
Dave, is there any great actresses in wrestling?
Well, not great, but Melina and Sharmell are really good.
Sharmell Sullivan is a fine woman.
Yes.
Okay, I just think that when you say I think actresses is a little bit overrated. If you're a good-looking woman, you can get in wrestling.
And not being able to act, well, we certainly have examples of those, too.
Yes,
exactly.
That's true.
Also, I noticed that WWE, they said that the Billy Graham book was out last Tuesday. I didn't see one mention of it on Raw's show last week.
There was a little crawl on the bottom of Raw, but they did have an ad for it on SmackDown.
Oh, all right. Are they going to have a hard kind of sell? Because I think Billy Graham could sell a little bit.
It's doing real well on the Amazon charts. I'll tell you what, as far as the book goes, the book is really good, like one of the best wrestling books that there's ever been. And we'll have him on, certainly, if not next week, within the next couple of weeks, we'll have him on for sure talking about the book and the DVD. But I would highly recommend both. They're really good.
I'm glad that the WWE is allowing Billy to come on. That's terrific news.
What?
I'm glad that the WWE is allowing Billy to come on. That's terrific news.
Please.
Yes.
Also, regarding, I was reading an interview with Kevin Nash, and he might have been an awful wrestler, but what do you think his legacy will be in the business?
He was an awful wrestler that made a lot of money.
I mean, do you think, will he be looked at fondly years from now at all, or do you think...
I can't imagine how.
As a backstage politician that destroyed WCW?
Well,
how would you see his legacy changing?
I don't think that he'll get credit for destroying WCW because he was oh God, Conan's coming out for this match and he's limping bad. I don't like that. Anyway, I think he was among the people who did a lot of damage, but you really have to look at people with more power when it went down than Kevin Nash. As the prime architects of the destruction of WCW. Speaking of which, Vince Russo's going to be on next week.
Brian, you have to admit, he was, when he joined when he started the NWA, the guy was over in a major way. He was hip, he was cool.
But he didn't give back.
Yeah, but then what?
Right, no, I'm just saying he was part of he was a big part of the resurgence.
Absolutely.
Well, I think he was, but the resurgence, there was a lot more to it than just that.
And
if you're part of the resurgence and also part of the downfall,
yep.
That's going to play a major part in it as well.
It's like Eric. I mean, was Eric a genius that took this $25 million a year company to $230 million?
And Dave,
or was Eric the guy who bankrupted, and ruined and killed the whole company and put wrestling in a horrible state for several years.
One of the things I enjoy reading about is the WCW salaries of the guys at the end. I mean,
AYBUCKLEY.com. Let Buckley Tours take you out to the ball game.
Hi, I'm Robert Wagner with an important message for homeowners 62 years or older. If you own a home, you may be able to pay off your current mortgage or access the equity in your home without making any monthly loan payments. That's right, no monthly loan payments. A U.S. government-insured reverse mortgage allows you to convert the equity in your home into cash, giving you the financial independence you deserve. The tax-free proceeds won't affect Social Security or Medicare benefits, and you can use the money for almost any purpose you desire. The Senior Lending Network program has prepared a free educational video that explains how a reverse mortgage works, how to qualify, and how you can supplement your income without any monthly loan payments. If you're a homeowner 62 years or older, your free video is waiting. So call now.
For a free educational video from the Senior Lending Network on reverse mortgages, call 800-995-4280. 800-995-4280.
Senior Lending Network is a program by Mortgage Warehouse, a licensed mortgage banker, New York State Banking Department. Callers' information will be shared with lenders who are members of the program. Consult your tax advisor regarding tax implications.
Hey, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Dave Meltzer, editor of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, with Bryan Alvarez of Figure 4 Weekly. Bryan, do you want to talk about the death of WCW?
Don't want to talk about it?
Well, you said you wanted to come back to it, so.
No, I was just going to make I was going to talk a little bit about the comment that none of it was Bischoff's fault.
Okay. Well, that's ridiculous.
He was sort of in control, you know what I mean?
See, the thing is this is what Eric's defense, okay, is that he was removed from power the first time in September of 99, okay? Now, the first 9 months of 99 were horrible, but they were still, living off of the momentum from 98, and they were losing money by the end, but not losing as much money as they obviously would lose down the line. And then, he was removed from power, and it got far worse, and they lost far more money. So, in his contention is, like, when they took him out, it and was rolling downhill, and it was in bad shape. Now, I believe it was salvageable when Bischoff was taken off. They still had enough of a fan base, although it was eroding, and they had a lot of bad will, which was real tough, but they had a lot of talent still. So I think it could have turned around, and the fact that it didn't says, Parsh, that anyone who says
I think one important thing sort of is that a lot of people are going to say that it was all Time Warner execs, this, that, and the other thing.
That's ridiculous.
I know. I mean, if they didn't shut it down in 97, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And there's no way they would have ever shut it down in 97, no matter how much anybody hated it.
They would have never shut it down, and they would have never shut it down in 98, or, in fact, in 99, even as bad as it got in 99, because, but in 2000, when it got to that year where they ended up, being on track to lose, they were losing $7 million a month at the early part of that year until they started cutting costs. At that point, someone was going to shut it down.
And in the end, yes, Jamie Kellner pulled the plug, but if it would have been generating $225 million a year, he would not have been pulling the plug.
Absolutely.
And so the question is, why did it go from $225 million or whatever to minus $60 million? What happened there?
That's not exact. I mean, it went from $230 million to $125 million in revenues, with costs staying about the same. And
so
that
whose fault was that?
It went from $50 million on the plus side to $62 million on the negative side in 2 years.
And that was not Jamie Kellner's fault.
He wasn't even around then.
That was someone else's fault.
And that wasn't AOL's fault either. AOL had nothing to do with it. They just merged with Time Warner. So, yes. Okay, let's go to Jonathan in Savannah, Georgia. Jonathan, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not too much.
I want to say, first off, I joined Figure 4 Weekly there for Bryan, and I love it. Every update with the Bryan and Vinny show, and I listened to you, Dave, Big Dave, on Bryan the other day on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So, but my question is, for Dave and Bryan, how long do you think Jarrett's going to keep the belt here for TNA? I mean,
not much longer.
Okay, because I just think
but he's always going to get it. But he's always going to get it back. So it's not like he's going to lose it and then the next guy's going to hold it for 2 years. And it's the problem is that he's always going to be in the picture, and he's never going to go away. And you either have to accept it, or you can watch Ring of Honor or WWE, because that's just how it's going to be.
Okay, so there would be no possibility of him even. I think with Sting coming in, it could help, but the thing I think that's happened is, well, Monty Brown's kind of got and lost in the shuffle, but with Christian, I've almost felt like they sort of been dropping the ball when he came in into. He should have probably won the title sooner.
No, I wouldn't say he should have won it sooner. He's not. You know, he's only been there for how many pay-per-view matches?
A couple months.
One. Isn't this like his second pay-per-view match, or is it his third? He had Bobby Roode was a TV match. Monty Brown was a pay-per-view, and then we got
I think it's his second.
Yeah, so I mean, it's too early. I would say they would be rushing it if he would have won it. You know, I mean, on this show, which I guess would have been, you know, and maybe he would have if Sting wasn't on this show. You know what I mean? Now that Sting's on this show, they're debuting him in this match, and a lot. Again, the match tonight's going to tell a lot as far as how everybody looks, how it all gets over. If Christian, believe me, if Christian Cage works like a world champion, and he can convince the guys on the booking committee that he works like a world champion, in due time he will at some point get the championship. And if he doesn't convince them that he can, then, you know, maybe he won't.
But is Jarrett doing a better job working as world champion than Christian?
I mean, not in the building.
Well, I think that's a major.
I you know, like here's my thoughts on Jarrett. I mean, I've been watching when I'm watching the show. He's a lot like Triple H to me, in the sense of when I watched him and visualize what a guy should do and what a guy should say. They do it, but they don't have the charisma doing it. Like they do, I think they do most things right. Jarrett's work is good. It's not like exceptional. His interviews, I mean, he says everything you're supposed to say. He doesn't stumble over his words. I don't think his delivery is, you know, world class. It's not horrible, but he's Jeff, and Jeff is just not. He's not going to be that charismatic guy that draws you big money, no matter what. But
the difference is Hunter has, in the right situation, drawn some big money, and in 4 years or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Jarrett never has.
No, I think Hunter's got a lot more charisma than Jeff Jarrett and a lot more star power.
I think when you add together the fact that if you're going to be running in a building every single show, and the building is clearly sick of the guy, and you can't do anything with him because the fans are chanting, "This is boring" or whatever, something's got to be done.
Mm-hmm.
You either move out of the building or you acquiesce.
Well, we're going to see what happens. I don't know what it will be. Anything else?
Oh, yeah, my other question, Dave, is with Matt Hardy, I guess, burying himself when he went back, with those contracts that for guys like that come back, you know, even Jamie Noble and I guess Spanky and whomever else along those same lines, if they were to quit their contract, if they were to quit, like, what exactly would they still have? I'm assuming the 90-day or longer.
Oh no! If they quit, it's going to be a lot more than 90 days. If they quit, they're going to have the duration of their contract that they can't work for TNA, and WWE could put the screws on them and try to attempt to keep them from working anywhere. Although they would probably let them work indies in Japan. Although not necessarily. You know, depending on how much they want to screw with them, they might try to keep them from even doing that, like with Brock Lesnar. But they could not. No, it's only 90 days if they fire you, and the reason it's 90 days is because they pay you for the next 90 days to keep you from going elsewhere. You know, you can't say, okay, for 90 days. No, you got to pay the guy to keep him from going. So that's the way the contracts. You know, you can't go. They couldn't go to TNA for the duration, and I'm sure Matt signed for a couple of years, and Noble and all of them. So if they're mad and they want to quit, you know, I mean, they're going to be sitting home they're not going to be on TNA's TV for a long, long time.
Okay, so you have to be fired. He'd have to work on being fired then.
You would have to be fired, but even then, they can suspend you. There's a lot of things that they can do.
Okay.
You know, if they want to, because they're not stupid. They're not firing people so they can go and work for the other company. I mean, that's not gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. Well, I have one last quick question for you.
All right.
And what would you feel about? I was just thinking about this and talking with some people about this. It's sort of, remember back in like whenever it was 98, 99, or 97 with the DX invasion of WCW or whatever?
Yes.
Outside. Would something like that for TNA since Spike is so, I guess, what's the best word? They're not pleased with WWE for leaving and moving to USA. Would something like that, you think, help them in any way?
I don't know that it's going to help them. I mean, they could do it. They could do it to cause attention, and you know, quite frankly, I'm surprised they haven't done it. But they haven't done it. You know, and I know it's, you know, they did the one thing at Universal when WWE filmed the Royal Rumble commercial last year, which got some publicity for them, and, you know, it was what it was. There's certainly been talks on several occasions of doing something like that, you know, but they don't do it. And now I just don't think that they have that mentality of you know, I don't know, I don't think they have the stick-it-in-your-face mentality. They don't have, like, an Eric Bischoff, you know, running the company. You know, Jarrett is more of a politician, I think, you know, without question, you know. He's not as arrogant or abrasive as Eric Bischoff, and not as egotistical when it comes to, you know, that aspect of being a company, you know, and you know, so, or as Vince McMahon. So I think that, you know, again, they might do it, but they're not as likely to do it as Vince McMahon would be or Eric Bischoff would have been.
Okay, and with their ring music. Sorry, last question. With the ring music, who exactly works on that in TNA, and do you know if they're going to try to come up with something that for each individual that doesn't sound so generic?
I don't know. I don't know the ring music stuff in TNA, but yeah, you're right. They don't have the distinctive ring music like WWE or like
everybody sort of sounds the same.
Yeah, I know, and I
don't know. Along with making, you know, some of those guys, as far as cutting some into personality, some of those guys like.
Well, they're trying with the guys. I mean, there's more angles and personality now on the show than there's ever been. So I mean,
right.
You know, they are trying. Abyss just nailed Rhino with a chain. I don't know if that's finished. We'll wait 3 seconds. 1, 2, and he kicked out. So it's not. Anyway, we're going to go ahead to a.
Only name to trust in pain relief. Let Blue Goo Pain Relief Gel work for you. Blue Goo. If you have a problem or pain, we have a solution. Blue Goo.
Okay, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Dave Meltzer, editor of the Wrestling Observer newsletter with Bryan Alvarez, Figure 4 Week. We'll run down the TNA pay-per-view cards. It was Team Canada beating Kenny King, Lance Hoyt, and Jay Lethal, and Conan and Homicide over the Naturals. Those were the pre-show matches, and then we had Austin Aries, Roderick Strong, and Alex Shelley over Sanjay Dutt, Chris Sabin, and Matt Bentley. We had, what was it, the James Boys beating Eric Young and Elix Skipper, or David Young and Elix Skipper. AJ Styles over Hiroshi Tanahashi. Sean Waltman over Raven, so Raven must leave TNA forever, or until Jackie Gaeta gets him back. Ron Killings lost to Bobby Roode. Abyss just beat Rhino with a black hole slam on a bunch of chairs, and now we've got Team 3D against AMW, and Bubba's face, and to a degree Devon's face, to me, God, they did what John Cena's face did last Sunday.
Uh-oh.
Yep, they did. I mean, I just saw their face, and it was like, oh, okay.
That's always
When
nice.
I saw John Cena's face, I mean, it was just like, God, the least you can do is when you know, like, not tell me, you know, again, not tell me what's happening. I mean, I didn't have even a question in my mind now, I mean, that he was losing that title by the end of that night when he walked through that curtain.
Yeah, I actually watched it after because I watched the replay, and you'd mentioned that, and I looked at it and I thought, God, he's completely right.
Yeah.
This guy's just irate right now.
Yeah.
But it's funny because, you know, people were saying, oh, he's handling it, he's trying to handle it really well, and I thought, well, he's doing a pretty bad job of that then.
Well, I mean, he was backstage, you know, I mean, it's got to be hard when you're being told over and over and over and again what a great job you're doing, and they're probably telling you your merchandise figures and your this and that figures, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're telling you that, you know, business is turning around, whether it is or it isn't. You know, I mean, let's face it, the holiday week was, you know, the week after Christmas is always a big week, and that's, you know, one of the last weeks they got numbers on. So it feels, the holiday week always feels like business is turning around, whether it is or it isn't. And, you know, then you're told, you know, you're getting incredible heat, not exactly what you're supposed to get, but, you know, I mean, your match is getting more reaction than everybody else's match on the show every night. And
especially lately.
Yeah. And, I mean, that's, you know, I'm sure they gave him no hints they were thinking in that direction. And you know, it's not like, you can't see the handwriting on the wall or something like that, because we've been talking about the possibility of this for a while. But again, generally speaking, when it comes to that stuff, you're given several days, a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Several months in many cases, notice on what's going to happen. I mean, when Hunter lost to Batista, of course, he knew
that summer.
Yeah, except he knew it was going to be to Randy Orton at the time. I mean, he knew he was losing a year before. And with JBL and John Cena, I mean, I got to figure they probably knew December, January. He knew. And then to find out, the day of the show, it's tough. But when he went through the curtain, he shouldn't have done that.
It was actually not even so much coming through the curtain. It was as soon as he got in the cell, there was a look on his face right there.
The minute he walked through the crowd, he wasn't even in the cell. The minute he walked through the crowd, I go, oh, my God, there it is. So anyway,
there's the face.
The face and just kissing the belt. It's like, do it after you lose. Don't kiss the belt goodbye before the match starts.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. It's his first time, though. We'll see how he reacts. Some people don't do well with this.
No.
Anyway, we're going to go to Kyle in Orlando. Kyle, what's going on? Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
We're doing great.
Hey.
I've been watching wrestling for about 20 years. I mean, you guys can let me know if I'm completely, totally off on this. But, I mean, the hammering's kind of on the wall. I kind of see it like the Rumble being Cena and Edge, Cena beat him back, and it being WrestleMania, Cena versus Triple H. Now, I can see Cena walking out of WrestleMania with the belt, and then they get backlash.
No. If Cena gets it back, it'll go to Triple H, because it's been so long since Triple H has had it. I'm pretty sure of that. I think I just don't know that they would take it off Cena and then put it back on him in 3 weeks. It's definitely possible, but my feeling is if they do that, they're going to face the exact same problem, and Triple H will if Triple H wrestles Cena at WrestleMania and Cena goes in as champion, Triple H is going to be the babyface in that match. I'm virtually certain of that, and he's going to get the people are going to not. They're all going to know in their minds Triple H is going to win, and they're all going to be glad to see it, I think. Some won't, but because Triple H is a half babyface anyway. I mean, half the fans want to cheer him. The half that don't know what's going on.
What do you think is going to be? I mean, it kind of looks like they're making Orton to be a babyface against Angle, maybe WrestleMania, right?
Well, if they go with that, Angle will be the babyface, not Orton.
Well, I mean, you don't think after Thursday, after the whole deal with him giving Booker T that weird look at the end of that match, they're kind of setting Orton up to be a babyface, or?
I think they may, but I think it's more a U.S. title deal.
I certainly sense Kurt Angle was a babyface in the match in the Battle Royal. And they're going to go with Kurt Angle and Mark Henry on the next round of shows.
When it comes to Raw, so what are you looking at to be WrestleMania's main event at this point?
Oh my God! I just did a big story on it. The answer is no one knows. It depends on it depends on what they can get Hogan to do. I think is the big thing right now. And if Hogan comes, if Hogan will agree to something, then a bunch of dominoes will fall in different places. And if he doesn't, then they'll have to change into other places. So I think it's pretty safe that right now they're looking at, without Hogan, they're looking at Angle, Orton, Undertaker, Mark Henry, and Triple H challenging for the title. I don't know if it'll be Edge or what, and I don't know where Cena would fit in. So I don't know.
What about Angle Ray?
It's possible. Yeah, definitely possible.
That was sort of when I was watching SmackDown. I sort of had that. Because the last guy Batista talked to was Ray. Talked about him winning the title. Just seemed like maybe it was the beginning of something. But I don't know. And if you can have a match with Ray,
okay, you know what the problem with that is well, you can always do things where you can go like Angle to Ray to Orton, and then have Orton and Batista, because obviously when Batista comes back, he's going to be challenging. They're going to want a heel champion when Batista comes back.
But there's plenty of time before he comes back, so I think
there is plenty of time. But do they want to do that many title changes? And one of the good things I think that they've done in the last year is made the title changes mean something, because that pay-per-view last Sunday, was a terrible show, but it ended up being okay because people saw a title change. And if you did title changes too frequently, if you see them 5-6 times a year, you can't save a bad show with a title change when it's commonplace. So to me, I think that one of the strong things they've done is not do a lot of title changes. Now that they did them, it was a big deal for both of them this year. So I don't know if they're going to rush and do more until WrestleMania, maybe one, but, I don't see it bouncing back and forth like, if you go Angle, you just did Angle, so you go Angle to, Angle to Ray to Orton before Batista in all in 6 months. That's a lot. That's 3 more changes. I don't know.
Yeah.
They might.
I kind of did an experiment like about a year ago where I got rid. Sounds stupid. I got rid of the internet. I stopped reading wrestling magazines. I quit doing everything where I could possibly find anything out and just straight up watch the shows when they first came on, and it's still horrible.
I got to tell you something. If it wasn't for the interest that I get in, with that knowledge and talking to people all the time, I think that without that, I can't imagine that I'd be watching Raw or SmackDown. I would probably watch TNA pay-per-views because they've delivered more often than not, but I don't even think I would watch Impact every week.
Yeah, it's kind of like back in 1993, I was a hardcore WWF fan. I was like, I don't know if I should start watching this WCW stuff. And I started watching it, and I got into WCW until they went under, and now I'm kind of like going, okay, should I watch TNA? I'm watching the pay-per-view right now, but I'm wondering if I should really get into it. I mean, in your guys' opinion, I've been a hardcore wrestling fan for a while. Is it worth getting into and watching, or?
It just depends on what you like. I'm entertained by TNA pay-per-views. I mean, pretty consistently. I mean, I don't know. Out of the 12 last year, probably 10 of them were really good, or 9. I don't remember, but I've enjoyed most of them. In WWE, I mean, I enjoy some of the pay-per-views. Like last Sunday's, I thought the last 5 minutes of the show, I can't say saved it because I still didn't like the show, but they were fun. I mean, the beginning of the pay-per-view, up until the Elimination Chamber, it was horrible. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Some of the Raws have been real bad. SmackDown on Friday night was real. I like SmackDown a lot on Friday. I thought they did a lot of good things. So
I'm kind of stoked because I got tickets to go to the Super Show in Orlando a couple weeks ago, so I'm wondering how they're going to work that. Hey, quick question. Do you guys know how they usually work that? Do they SmackDown first?
Usually they'll tape Raw first because it's especially in, Eastern, 9 to 11. No, they're going to have to tape SmackDown. Wait. Is it on a Sunday or a Monday?
It's on a Monday night.
Okay, they're going to have to tape SmackDown first then because Raw's running 9 to 11 live. So they have to tape SmackDown from 7 to 9. They don't like to do that, but that's how they're going to have to do it.
Right.
So that's
hey,
what they'll do.
One more quick question for you guys. Over the last couple of years, I've been into shoot interviews, been kind of back and forth watching them a little bit. I've seen a lot of good ones and a lot of bad ones. You guys recommend any good ones possibly to get?
I don't know. I mean, the people who are usually good talkers make for good interviews in that case. I mean, Cornette
and Heenan. If you haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, I'm sure Cornettes are going to be real entertaining.
Yeah, because I saw a really good one this week and a horrible one. I saw one this week that was pretty good with Kevin Nash, which was only good because of the funny stories. Mm-hmm. But then I saw a Scott Steiner one, and it's just Dave. He bashes you, man.
Well, what are you going to do?
And the interviews sucked.
I would say, and I didn't see this, but just knowing the guy, the one to go out of the way to get would be Bad News Allen.
Oh,
and I didn't see it, but I just know from having him on this show that he's a tremendous storyteller and brutally honest for the most part. So I would think he'd be really good.
Cool. You guys are great, man. I love the show. Take it easy.
Okay, let's go to Chad in Florida. Chad, what's going on?
Chad?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, what's going on?
I've got a quick question. I got two, actually. First one is has Angle and Daivari been traded to SmackDown, or what's the deal with that?
I think they're figuring it all out. I don't think Daivari's going to stay with him, but he was there on Thursday, so I don't know.
I think Angle's last Raw match is Monday, so he for sure would be going.
Right, yeah.
But I don't know about Daivari.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense for Daivari to manage Angle against Mark Henry.
True, very true.
So maybe.
And my second question is,
maybe Daivari will turn on him and go with Mark Henry.
That
that's a
could be.
possibility too. I mean, ever since Davari and Muhammad Hassan parted ways, I mean, Davari's just kind of been lost out there. It's like he's not getting any storylines. I don't know if the WWE really doesn't know what to do with him, or
at first they wanted him to go away until the heat died down, and then when the heat died down, they were going to bring him back. And so now, because they liked him, and they didn't like the other guy, and so they brought him back with the Angle thing, trying to make Angle a heel, but it didn't quite work. So, I'm sure they'll do something with him. He's a good performer.
Yeah, he is.
I wish they let him wrestle. He's a good wrestler too.
Yes, he is. And my other quick question is, I happen to get my wife bought me the Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior DVD.
Yes.
Very good DVD, by the way. Very informational DVD.
Not all of it's true, by the way.
Yeah.
a lot. I mean, there's you almost have to get the issue of the Observer on that DVD, because it's without it, you don't know truth from fiction. That's all I can say.
Exactly.
With the wrong attachment, the wrong information, or to the wrong person. Now you can get those emails back with Big String, the world's first recallable, erasable, self-destructing email. Big String lets you send emails that self-destruct, can't be printed, can't be saved, can't be forwarded. Now you can have the ultimate in email privacy and control for yourself or your business. Now you can self-destruct or change your email after it's already been sent or read. You'll never have to worry about an embarrassing email again. It's your email, and you should decide who gets to read it and for how long. Send important emails, pictures, and documents with total peace of mind that Big String is protecting you. Protect your privacy and take control of your email. Act now and get an extra 6 months of Big String absolutely free. To get your extra 6 months of Big String absolutely free, go to bigstring4.com. That's BIGSTRING, the number 4.com. Bigstring4.com for total email privacy and control.
Okay, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Dave Meltzer, editor of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, with Bryan Alvarez of Figure 4 Weekly. Again, if you can go to www.wrestlingobserver.com, and there's information on how to get a subscription to either publication. You'll be glad you did. Let's go to Tony in Pennsylvania. Tony, what's going on?
How's that go?
It's going pretty good.
Hey, I got actually a question. When do you think Raw is going to pick a new GM?
Whenever Vince is not having as much fun as acting GM. So it's
yeah. For me, I'm starting to get sick of it with him as general manager.
Well, don't tell him that, because then he'll keep for about another year.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
He's a great guy anyway. So.
Some people think so. Sometimes he is. It sounds like we are just about out of time. Bryan, have you seen the Wix Pizza commercials?
I did, and they were great.
Yeah.
The Wix commercials built better than some wrestling shows I've seen.
Actually, quite a few.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, we will be back next week. It's going to be quite the interesting show. We're going to have Dory Funk Jr., and we're going to have Vince Russo on as guest.
Woohoo!
So, anyway, we'll join you. We'll see you next week. We won't even have a pay-per-view to cover, so we'll have a lot of news, I'm sure. Okay. We'll see you in a week here on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network and Sirius Satellite Radio. You're listening to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline. God, I say the same thing over and over again. We'll see you next week.